And I thought I'd share a piece with you that's a couple years old. It was actually the first piece of sex writing I ever did. So I'm going to share that with you. Firstly, I should tell you that this story is 110% first person certified true. And secondly, I'm about to talk about my favorite sex act and an injury therein. I get nervous writing an essay about this topic. I just want everyone who reads it to know that this is no cautionary tale, but simply a funny story. A funny thing that happened to me and my wrist. So I was fisting my girlfriend. Does everyone know what fisting is? You should, because, well, you're here. But to clarify, it's the act of sticking slowly and carefully, please, your fist up your partner in crime's hoo-ha or anus, whatever pickles your cucumber. It is often perceived as violent, and plenty of people wrinkle their nose at it, but it's actually gentle, loving, and delicious. More about pressure than pounding, but anyways, yeah, fisting my girlfriend and using my wrist, I twisted my entire hand around because you know that feels awesome, and I, of course, want to be a queer sex rock star. Whilst she was in the middle of a particularly intense orgasm. Imagine my displeasure when I felt a pop in my wrist. I thought nothing of it, though. I was a little preoccupied. But the next day, while I was doing the dishes, I dropped one. I had tried to pick up a heavy pot, and my wrist revolted and hopped a plane to Tijuana. And I said, nuh-uh, no way did I hurt my wrist doing the naughty. I am in my 20s, not my 80s. It had to have happened while I was playing tug-of-war with the 115-pound pit bull mastiff lab mix that wiggles between my girlfriend and I every night. Yeah, that's it. It was the dog. I made the decision to suck it up. I am no pansy. Now, I was just graduating, and this was all during my last week of finals ever. I was up at night writing a 12-page paper for my queer history class when the pain became unbearable. I felt like the bones of my wrist were sliding around unattached, and WebMD insisted I was going to die. I decided that this was the night I was going to the emergency room. I looked in my wallet and realized to my horror that my insurance card was safely in a lockbox 45 minutes away at the abode of my parents. My sweet senior citizen parents, who love my girlfriend but who are far too vanilla for this shit. Also far too much my parents to know that I ever have sex ever. I finished my paper as quickly as possible and began to drive the 45 minutes one-handed, attempting to come up with a story. It was a dog. I arrived at my parents' house at midnight to a chorus of their confused looks. I explained that I'm here for my insurance card and I am going immediately to peace out to the emergency room. Oh no, says my father. No one should ever go to the hospital alone. I'm coming with you. Oh lordy, with a cherry on top. So the nurse, her name was Jess, I believe, called me in and asked what I did to my wrist. My father was at the front desk answering questions about my insurance, thank God, and with a glance to make sure he was far enough away, I said, well, there are two possibilities. One is that I heard it playing with a 115-pound pit bull mastiff lab mix. The second, far more likely possibility is that I heard it while fisting my girlfriend. Jess looked at the ground. Her reply, to preserve your dignity, I'm going to write down the first option. I kicked my father out when the hospital technician asked me the same question. You know, the one about the wrist I'd been holding close to my chest in a pained manner. I didn't want to give my 65-year-old father a heart attack, even if we were in a hospital. Anyways, I don't remember the tech's name, but he looked kind of like Ogie from the movie Waitress. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's a great movie. Anyways, Ogie Doppelganger asked, and I answered, well, there are two possibilities. One is that I heard it playing with the 115-pound pit bull mastiff lab mix. The second, far more likely possibility is that I heard it while fisting my girlfriend. The blank stare horrified me. Excuse me? Fisting? I don't really understand what that means. Well, I held my hand up, made a fist, sputtered, well, typed up for you. Oh no, I just sort of stiffly jiggled my wrist around. My eyebrows raised, hoping that he'd catch the idea of all of it. Well, you stick this. He caught it. In her vagina? Yup. And did you... He twisted his hand from around her. Yup. Huh. I didn't know one could do that. My only response was, welcome to the wonderful world of lesbian sex. Whew, I'm glad, said Ogie Doppelganger. I thought when you said fisting, you meant you punched your girlfriend. I burst out with, I'm sorry. I am sorry, I thought. Sorry for this extraordinarily embarrassing hospital visit. Sorry that it's 3 in the morning and I'm not asleep. But I wasn't sorry for sex. Really, that's the moral of the story. The sex was 125.4% worth this encounter with Ogie, and my wrist on the lamb seemed to be a black market plane ticket to Fiji with a jacked passport. The sex is always epic. Long live the sex. Ogie seemed unfazed, as if he were echoing my philosophy on sex. Or perhaps he was just too jaded, being an emergency room peep, because then he nonchalantly responded with, oh, no, really, don't feel bad. You're definitely not the worst one we've seen. We had a guy come in last week who shoved a light bulb up his rectum and it broke. Someone needs to take that guy to a Babeland workshop. The x-ray ladies chattered like chickens and were older than my father. What did you do to your wrist? I sighed as they positioned it on the x-ray table. Well, the first possibility is that I hurt it with a 115 Pitbull Mastiff Lab mix. The other... I skipped the part. They glanced at each other and burst out laughing, knowing smirks as they cackled. I bet the doctor would love to hear about that. You know, I'm all for full disclosure at the hospital, but I felt like this was 3 times too many. Plus, I'd already endured a large number of medical professionals cackling, knowing smiles, stifling giggles. I was the stuff of small-town hospital gossip, and the x-ray techs would know soon enough. It wasn't broken, just sprained. Yes, everyone, you understood right. I am fully committed to my girlfriend's happiness. I sacrificed my wrist for her. And those lovely podunk town hospital chickadees prescribed a splint, which they didn't know how to put on. Jess was back and struggling, and she burst out, oh no, we must look so unprofessional, we must look so stupid. Really, Nurse Jessica, let's revisit why I'm here. You're coming out on top. Oh, but you're totally not the worst thing we've seen. Why, just last week we had a guy come in who had shoved a light bulb in his rectum.